Happiness is something that everybody says they want. The whole world is based on happiness. The whole world is based upon getting a new shiny car, a beautiful romantic partner, a wonderful family. You even go down to your local bank, you see these wonderful ads of very handsome looking mommy, daddy in their 30s, very handsome grandparents in their 50s or 60s, very beautiful young children about 10 years of age, all smiling and happy, happy families. The whole world is chasing after happiness. The whole world is trying to be happy. But what the hell is it, and why should you not chase it? The problem with happiness is a fluctuating state. You're happy now, you're not happy 5 minutes from now. Happiness is a feeling. And if we're chasing after a feeling, we're no different than a person that goes bungee jumping every Saturday afternoon, or jumping out of an airplane, or climbing a mountain, or doing base jumping or something to get a high. You're seeking that feeling. And usually when you're seeking addictive feelings, they reduce over time. You have to go crazier and crazier, more and more out there to get the buzz. So what's wrong with this chasing happiness? The problem is, in theory, it sounds good. We should all strive to be happy. But the problem is that happiness is actually a side effect of something else. I remember some years ago, I was working in a job and I was in a bar one night with a co-worker. He was a nice guy, but I say, once you met him a few times, you say he's a bit of a failure. He's the sort of guy who's nice enough but didn't have loads of friends. The sort of guy who's nice enough but was never married or had kids. The sort of guy who's nice enough but wasn't successful in his job. The sort of guy who's just drifting through life. You could see it in him. You could see he was drifting through life. And he turned around to me very ardently after a few beers one time and said to me, "All I want to be is to be happy." And as he said that, it struck me like somebody slapped me across the side of the head. It struck me how ridiculous it was that this guy is striving for happiness, yet he's a non-success in every aspect of his life. And it struck me that the problem is chasing after happiness. Chasing after happiness is like chasing the end of the rainbow. No matter how hard you chase the end of the rainbow always seems to go further and further away. So what is the problem with chasing after happiness? The problem with chasing after happiness is that you're looking for a side effect. This is what struck me at that time, like a flash of insight in my mind. You're looking for a side effect. Happiness is the side effect of doing something else right. And what is it that you should be doing right? Well, what it appears to be, after extensive studies, I came to the conclusion that's actually meaning. The purpose of life is meaning. And if you've ever come across any videos by Jordan Peterson, he talks a lot about this, and which also reaffirmed this for me, the idea of meaning. So basically, human beings need meaning. I put a short video out there a few days ago called "You Are a Meaning Machine," and this is very much the case. The way your mind works is to try and grab metaphorical meaning, to try and make sense of the world and gain wider and bigger perspectives. When you're living metaphorically, when you're adding different meanings to your life, okay, it's like you feel you're becoming bigger, like you're a balloon blowing up. You feel like you're expanding. This is metaphorical meaning. So the actual purpose of life is finding meaning. And the strange thing is, when you are finding meaning in your life, when you're doing something that means something to you, you start getting a strange feeling in your heart, a strange kind of pleasure in your heart. And you get a kind of a buzz in your brain. Your brain is buzzing because your mind is now in alignment with that which means something to you. And your heart is feeling joy. And that joy is happiness. And happiness is in the moment. You see, you can't go back and eat yesterday's dinner. Say, for example, your dinner yesterday, you left some, it's a fantastic meal, but you left some of it over. Yeah, you could eat a bit for a day or two, but couldn't you go back after a month? Could you go back after a year? That would be rotten, wouldn't it? So the same with happiness. We can't go back and relive yesterday's happiness. There are people going off and trying to have a second honeymoon or going to their favorite holiday destination and wondering why it doesn't work. And the reason why it works is you can't live off of yesterday's happiness. It's also one of the reasons for failure in a lot of relationships is that people, say a boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife, they're very happy in the relationship for a while. And then it seems that the same things don't make them happy, that each person is different. And the reality is, when you met this other person, you were at a space in your life, they were at a space in their life, and those connections were meaningful, those connections were interesting. You were kind of resonating with each other. But of course, nothing stays the same. You don't stay the same. But the mistake that people make is they think that relationships are over because we change. But this is ridiculous. This is like going to a restaurant and looking for your favorite meal and then taking out a photograph, a camera, and showing a photo of the meal last week. So it's not the same as last week. Look, there's a French fry over here. Look, the potatoes over here. Look, the lasagna was kind of like this last time. You wouldn't do this. Every time you go to your favorite restaurant and have your favorite meal, it's slightly different. And so the experiences you have with your loved ones is going to be slightly different. The key is not to dump the loved one because things have changed, or to continually try and go back to the past with this loved person. That will never work, will always fail. The key is to grow together. The key is to move together. The key is to find new levels of correspondence, of connectivity with each other, and move the relationship forward. Relationships can never go backwards, they'll just go forward. So if you look at happiness, when we're chasing happiness, we're chasing a side effect. And the thing that made us happy when we're 5 years of age won't make us happy today. The thing that makes us happy today might make us happy 25 years from now. So the pursuit of happiness is a silly pursuit, a wasteful pursuit. You're far better focusing on the meaning in life, the chasing after meaning in life. How do you chase after meaning in life? It gets back to this idea of self before situation, which is the idea of becoming grounded in yourself, becoming centered in yourself, not becoming a selfish person, because a lot of people get into self-development and they become selfish because up to then they were doing the right things. They're saying the right things, doing the right things, trying to fit in. They were nice. And often people get into either spirituality or self-development or both. They become nasty. Why do they become nasty? They become nasty because they start realizing, I didn't really care about that. I'm not going to say hi to that person. I really liked them. They start doing all this stuff. But the same token, they're now selfish and they're obsessed by self. So we shouldn't be like that. We should be self-grounded, centered in self, responding from the heart. And so we should be pursuing, learn about yourself, try different hobbies, read different books, have different self-development processes, learn about who you are, and try and do stuff that's meaningful. Keep a diary. And if you try something that's not meaningful, try to do something else. Keep trying to do different things until they give meaning to you. Okay? What is meaning to you? It's different for different people, but you'll know it. Mentally, you'll feel like this is the thing I always wanted to do. And in the heart, you'll feel, wow, this like a little river flowing in your heart. You feel joy. And joy kind of bubbles up. You feel the bubbling up of joy. So that is the pursuit of meaning. A final point I'd also say regarding chasing after happiness. You chase after anything, you always lose it. We always have this in the movies where the hero is trying to grab something, or maybe the evil guy sometimes trying to grab something, and then it keeps slipping out of their fingers, okay? There was a great scene in one of the Raiders of the Lost Ark films, it's not Raiders of the Lost Ark, it's the Indiana Jones film. I think it was maybe it's called the Temple of Doom. It's where they go into the temple to get the Holy Grail. It's a very beautiful German lady who kind of cheated Indiana Jones, but then he's trying to save her life. So he has her by one hand, but then she just wants to grab the Grail and she falls and dies. And then he tries to grab the Grail and his father says, don't do it. And then he lets the Grail go and he survives. And there's a kind of a metaphorical symbol in that. The metaphorical symbol is don't try too hard. When you try too hard, you push things away. So that's another final thing I was saying. Chasing anything, or chasing success, chasing money, chasing happiness, is if you try too hard, you push it away. But for now, this video, let's just say meaning. So this is why chasing after happiness is a bad idea. Chasing after everything is a bad idea. But what I would say is, if you want to be happy, pursue a meaningful life. And what's a meaningful life? It's going to take some self-exploration. That's it for today. If you like, please like and subscribe. I will talk to you next time.